Hi everyone. In today's video, I want to talk about Terrence Howard. So, um, he was on the news for about 5 years ago when he talked about the flower of life and the things that he intended to discover. In my other channel, I talked about insights I got from his understanding of the flower of life. But recently, after in this podcast, I went around and watched the entire episode, which had about now yesterday was like 3 million, now it's 4 million views. He talked about a lot of things, like from the chemistry to physics to philosophy and like literally a lot of things. So basically, what I want to talk about it's first I want to talk about a couple of things. So it's interesting because um how do you usually like how does he know all these things? And he talked about the periodic table, how it's not usually as square as it's supposed to be. It's the way material substance manifest. It starts as a spiral, and then he talked about how it begins as a hydrogen, and then it just goes in these different octaves until it becomes, something more complex. But the science doesn't. I mean, the modern science doesn't want to recognize that. I'm saying they don't want to recognize that because there's a lot of you know in the 1920s there's a lot of scientists who had already discovered that the manifestation of the material substance doesn't it's not just it's not vertical. It's something that starts tiny and then it becomes more complex as as time goes on. And that's why a seed starts from a seed and then a small a seedling, and then it grows all the way to a tree, and then it starts all over again. So I think that was pretty interesting because I also get insights. The I wanted to talk about the sources of information. Usually, where do all the scientists get their sources of information? Where do they get these insights? And then they do research, and some of them, they experiment, and then they realize what insight they had was true. So the reality is that we all have um, access to this source of information. Everything comes from this morphic field, and then even higher, like what he said, that he got his inspiration from dreams. He was dreaming that he met this guy in the castle, and this guy was giving him some of this geometry, and that's what he's doing now. So what I'm saying is, I remember like back in the uh, June 16, 2021, I wrote this article about dimension and the spiral and cyclical universe. I think there was I really it was very brief that I talk about um the way material substance manifests. It's like everything you see in the universe. It's just it appears in spiral. And then what happens is everything starts, like hydrogen is also water. So I find it interesting that he also talked about the same. He also talked about the same thing, how hydrogen it it just doesn't always remain to be hydrogen. That's like the very early stage of the manifestation of the material substance. But it doesn't even start from only hydrogen. It begins all the way from light, from subatomic particles, and then it just becomes more complex. Um, Another thing I wanted to talk about, his understanding is he. he has discovered that uh, no, not this one. He has discovered that the actual bond. This one is. I want to show you this little video here. Drones. They're very unique. Here. So basically, these drones, they are kind of like a swarm. They can, pile up together and create, more complex and more larger drones doing a larger task. So basically, when I look at these drones, now after watching his podcast with Joe Rogan, when I watch at these drones, and something strike in my mind, because the universe is all about vortices, like when you, if you have ever read Victor Schobeger's theory or his insights about the nature of the universe. Everything is in spiral, and vortices are things that generate, they concentrate energy, or they dismantle energy. So basically, when I look at these, I kind of understood something more, because what these drones do is they can rotate, they can do a lot of things. So basically, when you look at these drones, they have all these fan. And what do the fan do? The fan, basically, they generate these vortices, and vortices are the foundation of the manifestation of material substance. So basically, I think now he I'm not sure if he knows this yet, but I think what where he's heading is basically these drones, the way he's building them, they're going to be able to project material substance, because uh, as long as you focus energy, or you compress energy, like condensation of water, if you can compress energy, then you can generate something like water, or water from the rain, or you can generate cloud. So basically, when I look at these drones and what he's trying to use them for, the very first thing that came to my mind was the Ezekiel wheel. So when you think about Ezekiel wheel, it's basically the same concept. They are more like wheels within wheels. It's basically, it's almost the same concept. And then when I read about if you read here, he says this is what the wheels look like. They were identical wheels, sparkling like diamond in the sun. It looked like they were wheels within wheels, like a gyroscope. So, and then he says they went in any one of the four directions they faced, but straight, not veering off. You know, so it's like they were tethered, with these beings that had faces on all sides, and they had four wings. And then when the living creatures went, the wheels went. When the living creatures lift off, the wheels lift off. Wherever the spirit went, they went, the wheel sticking right with them, for the spirit of the living creature was in the wheel. When the creatures went, the wheel went. When the creatures stopped, the wheel stopped. So think about these, um, the way these Ezekiel wheels appear. The way they appear. Think about like this one here, right? Or this one. They maybe this image here. Look at this, and then look out at these linchpins, the drones that he's trying to create. So when you think about this, it's basically, the way I understand them, it's more like how because of these wheels, these drones, they have fan, and fan projected vortices, and vortices can create pressure, or it depends on the rotation. It can either condense or expand. So when it condenses, maybe these beings Ezekiel was seeing, they were maybe a projection. So maybe these wheels within wheels. So that's why I say whenever they move forward, the beings move with them. Whenever they move backward, and I'm not sure. I think they was they were they hovering on the ground beside each of the four. Yeah, so it seems like these wheels within wheels were actually projecting. It was kind of like a hologram. I think maybe it's probably the same concept. These wheels, they were most likely projecting these beings. So they were kind of like instrument that you know uh, Terrence is heading to. I think it's basically heading where they will be able to, because I think it's just really a matter of time where he's going to realize that if you manipulate the fan, you are also manipulating the pressure around objects. And so if you take it further, if these drones, if they can generate some sort of vortices with this fan, then they can create something like a shield, or something like a breeze around, something like a storm around an object. And then if you do that, then you can tether, or you can this this breed or this breeze, they can actually make an object become it's basically like vibration. So basically it can also project a vibration on a specific item, even if it's heavy element. Maybe if you project these vortices, then you can make something be weightless, or you can make it be heavier. Maybe you can also make it disintegrate, you can make it evaporate. So that's what I wanted to give an insight, because I think that's really where he's heading. So in addition to that, I like I said before, we all have the ability to tap into this field of energy and actually learn anything we want. So because I wrote about this a while ago, that was December 2021, whispers from water. And the interesting thing is, most of the stuff he said is just it really aligns with what the information when I try to channel the essence of water, and the fact that water is not really, it's just in a different, like the way we experience water, it's just a narrow scope of a larger you know journey. The journey of water, it starts from it actually not from hydrogen is also one stage. So it's really just like it's coming from all this energetic level, and then it comes down, and then it decays and become heavier and heavier, and then eventually it just goes to another dimension. So I think if you want to read about it, I'm going to post the link in the description, and I also have a video that has this all this information about the whispers from water. So anyways, that's all I wanted to talk about.